Visa Starfrost.
We're revisiting Scareclaw this format, featuring the OG Vsauce Twink. We don't need those other dudes. We don't need Reichheart, Rhinoheart, or Rimheart. Those guys are cringe. This is Scareclaw Reichheart, best one. And before I continue, I did make another video on sort of like an introduction on Scareclaw that like details over what all the monsters do and like the basic strategy, and it has the basic combos you want to do, because yes, this is about as combo focused as of a build as you can get with Scareclaw. It's not just Reichheart, or it's not just try hard pass. You see, we're running the Adventure Engine and the Cashier Engine with Fender at 1 RIP, and there's combo lines where you can utilize your Fender, your 2 Fenders now because of the ban list, in order to actually search the Adventure Engine using certain cards in the extra deck. This is still a line that I don't think I've seen anybody else use on Master Duel yet, so I suppose it's good to know if you're gonna play a variant like this and like keep your options open. So there's 2 ways to build going first Scareclaw this format, I feel. One of them is basically the version you see in front of you right here, which is the Adventure Engine with Cashier Fender, and this builds up a pretty respectable board in all honesty. Like you saw in the intro, if you resolve your combo and you draw the other pieces of the other engines in your deck on top of your Scareclaws, it's actually like pretty difficult for your opponent to play through. Almost impossible, I would say, without very specific board breakers. Because Twin Saw Tryhard alone is pretty formidable. You have a monster that's pretty much unaffected by the majority of monsters in the game except for Link monsters. Then you have a Pop 2 that's also a D barrier for Links. So yeah, you put those 2 together, and yeah, most decks can't really play through that. And then you have Omni Negates on top of that with your Adventure Engine and your possible Fender, and you have more access to your extra deck options such as Barone, since you have more bodies. And the other way to play the to play Scareclaw is you cut all of these auxiliary engines like Adventure. You probably cut Fender as well, because Fender is not fantastic as a going second card anymore, and it's only at 2 anyways, and if you have to play it Raid Slot, which plays really bad into Droll. But then you replace all that and you just put in more Handtraps in the deck, and you run like 18 Handtraps. I'm not kidding. Just because the meta is so combo heavy that if you don't draw the specific Handtrap you need, such as Droll or Maxi, you need to open 2 Handtraps in order to stop your opponent if they're on Super Heavy or Vanadium. So yeah, that's the other way to play the deck. Just minimal engine plus fill it out the rest of the deck like with all Handtraps, like an average Cybers deck. Honestly, it just plays like a Cybers deck at that point, since you're also basically just link climbing into a Tryhard, and you're basically, your end board is gonna cap out most of the time at just Twin Saw and Tryhard. You're not gonna have Omni Negates and other disruptions to back it up. And the reason I'm playing the Adventure build is, totally, it's because of that thumbnail, bro. I totally wanted to play this build just for the thumbnail, right? Okay, in all seriousness, I'm not sure which build is actually better, and I probably will end up testing the very Handtrap heavy build later on, and cutting the Adventure Engine and Fender. The thing is like, this deck plays very, very low to the ground if you don't have the additional engines in the deck, and you often get stopped by 1 Handtrap a lot of the time if they know, like if they know what to Handtrap properly. Obviously, if they just Handtrap the first thing and like try to Ash like Lightheart, that doesn't work a lot of time. You get punished by 1 of your 9 extenders. But if they know what to Ash in the deck, or if they know to even just hold their Imperm, hold their Ash for like your Reichheart, and then you basically just end on no actual real interruptions through 1 Handtrap. So like, at least the stuff like the Adventure and Fender stuff, they let you at at least resolve your combo and resolve your end board more often. And Droll is unfortunately we're in a Droll format, and this deck absolutely just the engine absolutely dies to Droll. Like there's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. Like I think pretty much the only way to play around Droll is to hard open Reichheart and then search Twinsaw immediately with it as your first search, and then you have to open 2 other Scareclaw names with it, and that's how you play around Droll. And even then, that's like not even good, because then you don't even have the body on field to sack for the Twinsaw. You need to like it's really rough. You need to open like a 3.5 card combo in order to play through Droll. It's so bad. It's like, so at the very least, if you're playing stuff like, I don't know, Fenrir and the Adventure Engine, there's a possibility that, well, I guess maybe not so much the Adventure Engine unless you hard draw the Graven Rider, because the Adventure Engine unfortunately also does play into Droll a bit. But at least having Fenrir on the field does accomplish something with Handtraps at the very least, although it's kind of cope, it's not the greatest. But versus a non-Droll or a non-Maxi Handtrap, the Adventure Engine does help you play through pretty much almost any other Handtrap, or at least bait it out. It lets you play around Nib, Infirm, Ash, any single one of those, the Adventure Engine eats up and you still get to resolve your combo through that. And if they don't have the Handtrap, then you just have another Omnigate on board, which helps you more resolve Twinsaw plus Tryhard. Since at the moment you resolve Twinsaw and you get its D-Barrier, and you manage to get its D-Barrier effect for Lynx, the game is usually over against most decks. So having an Omnigate to protect your setup so that you can push that through is, that matters a lot of the time, as opposed to like having just a single Tryhard out that, honestly, even like a random Kaiju outs it. And you might be thinking, what does the Adventure Engine do to protect you from Kaiju? Well, very often when you resolve the Adventure Engine, or you open with a Fender, you will end with 5 monsters on board in the main monster zone and Tryhard in the extra monster zone. What does that mean? That means your opponent can't Kaiju your Tryhard, because they have no main monster zone to put the Kaiju into. So yeah, your big towers like Baguska monster that lets you get the D-Barrier effect, off Twinsaw, it gets get protected from a Kaiju randomly. So, and like honestly, the Adventure cards are pretty good going second. They may not be as ideal as Handtraps this format, just because of the nature of the decks in the combo decks, but still, like these definitely help, because the biggest issue with Scareclaws is going second is having your normal summon nuked. If they remove your normal summon, it becomes exceedingly hard to extend. You would need to make sure you have something like a Scareclaw Cache or an Arrival in order to extend. Otherwise, all the extra Scareclaw monsters you have are dead, because you no longer have a zone you can summon them to. Well, the Adventure Engine helps with that, since it lets you basically force out negates without spending your normal summon, and bounce problematic cards without using your normal summon, so that at the very least you can bait out all the removal first before you commit, and that way you could have a better chance of playing through going second, which this deck is actually quite decent going second. You'd be surprised. You can actually potentially break the standard super heavy samurai board, assuming they don't do dumb stuff like Scythe Lock you or other stuff. If the cookie cutter combos of just like 3 different boss monsters, you do have a chance to break through that with stuff like Engine and Adventure stuff. Although again, the degenerate stuff is, it's degenerate for a reason, like the Scythe and the Spellcaster and stuff like that. So that's why Handtraps are more ideal going second, but this is still okay a lot of the times. And I guess we can go over the deck build now. Now we're playing the max copies of all the Scareclaw monsters. I see people running less, and I get it, you want to put in more non-engine, but this deck only really has 13 starters if you count Reichheart, which I don't even like counting Reichheart, because Reichheart is not the one I want to start with. Since if you start with Reichheart, you don't get the draw, so ideally you want to start with a level 3 Scareclaw. That way you can summon Reichheart later in the turn when you control defense position monsters, and then potentially draw an extra card. And yeah, when you only have 9 starters, that's already not ideally sufficient in my mind for opening one every game, especially in a deck that goes slightly over 40. And they're not bad to draw multiples of either. Every single one is an extender, as long as your normal summon sticks. But yeah, you just really need to open one of these. If you don't open a Scareclaw name, then you can't play the game, and if you don't open one of the level 3s, then your hand is also not very strong either, and it's more prone to actually getting disrupted. So yeah, I'd like maxing out on these. And of course you have to run the 1 V-Stars. Now before this was optional, it was just like kind of a funny thing for the meme. But now with the addition of Vicious Astrolabe, which basically is the amazing tool going second obviously, but it's also just a free body. And that's it's important because the Vicious Astrolabe turns all your plays where you made Baron. Baron was very hard to make before Vicious Astrolabe. You pretty much needed like a 3.5 to a 4 card combo through getting not interrupted at all in order to do a Baron and then still end on a Reichheart. But obviously with Vicious Astrolabe being a free body, when you use Visa Starfrost, it reduces a card from the combo into like a 3 card combo or even a 2.5 card combo to end on Baron and Reichheart. And that's actually, it comes up way more often now. And I consider this at least mandatory, at least one of in every Scareclaw deck now. We have the Adventure Engine, we have the one Fender, RIP. Just the one Scareclaw and the one Arrival, since this is not a pure build. You have other forms of extension, like the Adventure Engine, and these cards, Scareclaw Arrival and Scareclaw Castera, are not actual starters. They don't help you play the game unless you open other starters first. So you don't want to break on these too much. And for the Handtraps, so Maxi, Ash, and Droll are, I think, pretty self-explanatory, and I am putting the one crossover in there now just because Droll is another target that you have to have an out for, otherwise you pass your turn. I'm running Gamma here because this deck is... We're already playing this deck sort of high roll by playing the Adventure Engine, so you might as well go all the way with Gamma, since this deck doesn't have room to play too many Handtraps. Again, it only has room for, I would say 11 to 12 Handtraps while already going over 43, so your chances of opening more than one Handtrap are not too high. I believe it's only like, it's way less than 50%, maybe even like bordering on like 40% or like lower. And if you can't open 2 Handtraps versus Super Heavy Samurai, you have to open high impact ones. Like opening just one Imperm or one Ash Blossom versus Super Heavy or Vanadium even does absolutely nothing, like the majority of the time. So that's why I'm putting in Gamma, even though it reduces the hand trap count even further since you have to run the Brick and Driver. Gamma is one of the more high impact cards for hand traps versus Super Heavy, and it has potential to maybe end their turn or do a significant portion to their end board as opposed to like a lower impact hand trap. Like if you they link off their Soul Piercer into Scarecrow, then you just Gamma the Scarecrow trying to revive the Soul Piercer, and then that's like a huge deal since they don't get the Soul Piercer back for another search, and they don't get the body for Scarecrow. So then they're probably out of a normal summon. They don't have something to equip the Soul Peacemaker to. Like that has turn ending potential versus Super Heavy, which is what you're trying to look for in hand traps when you can't run too many of them. And also this has application going first, more so in this build than the pure build with more hand traps. I would not run Gamma in that build, but here you have Rite of Arimasir potentially plus Raitsoff and even Faithful Venture as baits for Gamma on your turn, especially because Droll is more popular now. At drolling stuff like Faithful and drolling like Broda and drolling Primitive Planet is very tempting, so Now that there are 3 common hand traps that you can potentially bait with Gamma on your turn in Maxi, Ash, and Droll, it makes it that much more likely to use it on your turn. And because it's already the best hand trap going second, just having an extra ways to have it not be dead when you go first as well, in my opinion, justifies running Gamma in a build like this. And for the extra deck, so the stuff that really matters is Tryhard, 2 Tryhard. You don't need the 3rd Tryhard. The 3rd Tryhard only comes into play really when I don't open Acro and I just wait and I just make a 2nd Tryhard during my turn 1 just so I can search Acro so my Tryhard can gain attack. But honestly, that's not really necessary if you don't want to spend the... If you already have these cards for some reason, you don't have the 3rd Tryhard, you don't have to spend the UR for the 3rd Tryhard if you don't want to. And then 2 Light Hearts, you need 2 of these, and then I would recommend the Zeus package, and Baron DeFleur and Astrolabe as the only really necessary non-link non-Xyz. Omega is if you run Gamma, it's something you can do with the Gamma, although half the time if you go to second, for example, you can turn the Gamma into a Chaos Angel with the Reichheart. Although again, you don't need Chaos Angel. This almost never comes up. I don't think I've made Chaos Angel once. The Cherubini and the Mega Phantom Beast is for the combo with Fender that lets you search the Adventure Engine by making Draco Sack, making 2 tokens, turning 2 tokens into Cherubini, and then Cherubini dumping Water Enchantress. So if you don't open the Adventure Engine, you can still have a way to access it. And Link Spider is just for the Adventure Engine, for the Adventure token basically. It also can be used for Nibiru, although you have to have more extenders in your hands for the Link Spiders to still be useful after you get Nibiru. And Fortune Tune is the Link 3 that enables you to go into Zeus the most, since this can't be targeted, and you can detach to save it from getting destroyed from battle, so you can always overlay at least 2 and 1 material Zeus, and if you attack the Defense Vision monster, then you have Downer for the second Zeus, or for the second Zeus. I wish you have Downer for the 2 material Zeus. Yeah, well, let's see how this deck performs now. So this replay is going to show how high of a ceiling this deck can go with the additional engines in the deck. So we open Right plus Scareclaw monster plus Reichheart as well, so that's already FTK because we have this Gamma in hand. And nobody plays around Gamma when you activate Rite of Aramis here. So check this out. Boom, you're done. There goes your Maxi, and then we synchro into the Omega just to clear room, because we actually need to make Omega to clear the room on this board, as you'll see later. And then the Fateful Adventure gets the Draco back without even normal summoning yet, and then this takes another card, and Dinomorphia. My bad, man. You should have gone first. That's a skill issue right there. I'm sorry, dude. So yeah, now we get the Griffin Rider on the field. So yeah, we got a negate up without literally summoning a monster or normal summoning a monster. Now we're gonna Scareclaw into Lightheart, and then because we have extra bodies, we're gonna add a Wreckphobia, active Wreckphobia, add the Visa Starfrost, pop the Lightheart, then summon the Lightheart back because we control a Visa Starfrost, and then special summon the Lightheart again to get another Wreckphobia just to deck fin, and now we're gonna special Reichheart to add Twin Saw. And this is insane because now we get this, because we summoned Reichheart early. Reichheart, if you drew any single extender, so we still had 8 Scareclaw names next. It could have drawn any of our 8 Scareclaw names left, or it could have drawn our rival Scareclaw. So that's 9 things that you could have drawn off the free draw of Reichheart. And if you draw any of those, that allows you to go into Baron, because now after you go into Baron, you can banish these 2 for Vicious Astral out. And then the extra extender you drew off the Reichheart gives you the 3rd body on the field, so that lets you go into your Tryhard because it takes 3 effect monsters using the Vicious Astra. Then we're gonna bring back Astra and add Acro, and I'm just gonna do the shuffle where I summon Acro. And okay, so I just do leave this on field because I figured I have 2 Omni Negates and you know and a Twin Saw pop 2 plus D-Barrier for links, which doesn't really matter because playing Dinomorphia. More importantly, they're on 4 cards. So now that I have a full field of monsters, our opponent cannot kaiju the Reichheart because there's no zone for the kaiju to go into if they want to kaiju our link monster. So yeah, that's just it's not very necessary, especially not this format. But I just think it's a very funny thing to do, and there's no way Dinomorphia is playing through 2 Omnis plus Twin Saw with 4 cards in hand. So we go from one of the strongest opening hands you can draw to one of the weakest. This is one Scareclaw monster plus 3 of the same hand trap. So effectively all this does is play around Call by the Grave, which again I guess it's nice to guarantee your draw resolves. So it's not as bad as like drawing 3 Ash, for example. But yeah, this with one Scareclaw monster you don't really have many options. You have to add Reichphobia, and then Reichphobia has to add Reichheart, then you have to special Reichheart and add a rival. So not only do you not get Twin Saw, you don't get the Reichheart draw because you don't have enough bodies, because you didn't draw any of your supplemental engines, and you didn't draw any other Scareclaw names. So yeah, this is just going to be Tryhard pass, and Tryhard can summon back alone. Here I add Acro just to special summon it and then make another Tryhard. Not once per turn, by the way. I do this just so I can have Acro summon with the Tryhard, because Acro is the one that gives Tryhard stats. Albeit, because I only control 1 monster, it only gives it 300 more attack. So like this doesn't really, I don't think this attack point matters at all. All I did was really deck fin, and then you add the Reichheart for follow-up, since you already used it this turn. Then I set Infirm, and hopefully Droll goes hard in this matchup, right? And, oh yeah, Droll goes hella hard in this matchup. They add Raisin, and yeah. Now, this is already hard for them to go in second, because they have a really hard, difficult time trying to out the Scareclaw Tryhard. I'm not quite sure they have a way to really out it at this moment, because we have Scareclaw Arrival Engraved, so even if they somehow had Dust, Snow Devil, the trap card, you can still protect the Tryhard, and then obviously Raisin, none of their monsters can pop the Tryhard, so they have to like spend a bunch of resources to go into links. And they're gonna stake your soul to add Dr. Madlove. This is like, again, they had so many 3 monsters with searches. All of this shit got turned off by 1 Droll. Yeah, that's might be a bit of a harder meta for Vanquish Soul. Even though Droll was popular last one, I mean, Droll is literally in every single deck right now. And look at what this 1 Droll did. Yeah, they're gonna go into Rock, which, again, literally none of this is threatening yet. Finally, they decide to go fuck it and Security Dragon into my Infirm. And then they're gonna Red Reboot. Why the hell are you on Red Reboot? Do you know this is Super Heavy Samurai just came out, right? What are you trying to Red Reboot against that then? Okay, so anyway, they're gonna help us out, because now I get to set Twin Saw from the deck. Thank you very much. I would have preferred to have Twin Saw over this lone Tryhard on the field. And now they're gonna steal Magnamoot, which again, card number 4 that got shut down by Droll. Yeah, this that's a rough one. And now they're gonna Rock of the Vanquisher to add. They can finally recruit back some hand. Like when Vanquish Soul can't search, like their hand size is just so sad, because they have to commit to the field, and if they don't, the bodies don't replace themselves, and it's like they have no attributes. I'm gonna go to Nightmare Phoenix and pop my Infirm, and realize they can't draw because they're under Droll. So Droll just traded for 5 cards on my opponent. Like Droll just +4 to my opponent and prevented 5 searches. Man, I love this format. Okay, so speaking of Droll, spoilers. So I'm going to activate Enchantress, add Rite of Aramasir, and get Droll for my life. Joke's on them, I already drew my Wandering Griffin Rider, so no issues there. Add set Faithful Venture, special Griffin Rider, and then they're gonna trigger their furniture to dump 5 Rainbow Magician. once again, jokes on them. This shit is like everywhere if you play against Labrynth. So they're gonna set 5 Rainbow Magician, right? And I draw the Foolish Burial. This card was literally dead in my hand. This card is useless right now because I already drew the Water Enchantress. So this card literally does nothing for me. But because they have 5 Rainbow Magician, this now has a use. So thank you very much. And that means I can use my Griffin Rider to negate still. I can use its effect because I control a set card. So that with Welcome is not resolving. Although it's probably bait because they had no modern monsters anyway, so yeah. And it definitely was bait because they want to go for Nadir Servant. The problem is, okay, so they're gonna pop my set card because they don't have any more sets of their own. So because they have no more sets, they can't actually trigger the Ecclesia that they searched because of their own 5 Rainbow Magician in a fucking Labrynth thing. That's like hilarious. They just pop my set card hoping that I don't draw any more set cards. But I don't know why you would do that because I can just search Draco back next turn and bounce this. Unless they have another furniture in hand. Because if they have a furniture in hand, I Draco back bounce, they can discard it. But I don't need to do that because I drew a rival, so I already drew another set card. So yeah, none of this is doing anything for me. And now we add the Griffin Rider back too. Send the Draco back equipped to the Adventure Token, and special the Griffin Rider, and yeah, that's gonna be over. I should have made the I should have made the reason that they didn't even have a furniture in the first place. If they had a furniture, they would have used it so that they can normal summon their Ecclesia when they control a set card and use their Ecclesia. So they had no back row and they had no furniture. All they had was a fucking 5 Rainbow Magician. Well, I drew two of my like 5 cards that I can set to the back row. So that's a skill issue right there. Alright, these next couple of duels, these are some of the worst duels that I have ever participated in. On both sides. So, opponent goes Lubellion for Sarnier. Sarnier, interesting. Yeah, of course they're on Branded. That's why you search Sarnier. So they're gonna normal Quem and then special Cartasia and then I'm gonna max C and they're gonna Ash me. So, clearly my opponent did not watch my combo video properly. Because, Quem plus Cartasia is full combo. Check out my combo video on how to do it. Watch what they do. Okay. They're gonna special Cartasia. Okay. Activate Albaz, dump Branded Lost. Okay. Now they're gonna use Cartasia's, fusing with the Albaz in hand to make Albion. And that's gonna trigger their Quem to bring back the Cartasia that they already used. Okay. Thinking. And then Albion is gonna banish the Cartasia. You use Quem to bring back the Cartasia, and then you just banish it with Albion anyways. Which can, by the way, banish from both Grave and Field, so yeah, that's a very efficient use of your Quem right there. And that's gonna make it Grand Guignol. Grand Guignol is gonna dump Garura. Dump Garura because they had an Albion in Grave, by the way. They used Albion to send Branded Lost. Which is not on the field. So now they send Garura to randomly draw a card because if they sent Retribution or Branded Fusion, they could have Branded Fusion right now. But no, instead they have a they randomly draw one, and now they're finally gonna get Lubellion on the field. Okay, and then actually Lubellion to set Branded Beast. Okay, and then here it comes to Sarnier. What the hell is this? You're not even fusion locked. If he played Verte, they could make Verte and end on a Mirror Jade still. They could have it lost on the field. This is literally the worst line I have ever seen in my life. I'm sorry to call you out, but like this is... you could have not possibly played that hand out any worse. Like if you just played randomly, on average, you would end up with a better result than this. So yeah, here comes back the Branded Lost. Without a way to fuse, because, hey, check out, the Cartasia is no longer engraved, so you can't revive the Cartasia. So you have Retribution as your one interruption, and then Branded Beast as your second interruption. Okay, you want to see how to do that combo properly? Watch my combo video. So I'm gonna activate Right of Artemis here. They should have negated this. This was well, I mean it's fine they didn't negate it because they can pop the Faithful Avenger with Branded Beast. So I guess that's defensible. But now they don't have anything. Like at this point I'm trying to figure out what the I'm kind of shocked myself. I don't know what I'm gonna do because I'm not thinking through my plays. I was still mindfucked with what my opponent did. So our opponent's gonna trigger Quim to revive the Albion because that does something, right? Like special Albion from the grave with Quim. So we're gonna do our normal. We have 4 extenders in hand, and four extenders in hand now, and we're gonna pop the Retribution, so they don't have to worry about that. Summon Visa Starfrost, and that's gonna trigger their Grand Guignol to summon Coritis. And okay, we're gonna summon Lightheart back, and then special Lightheart into another Lightheart just to deck Finn. And here I was losing my mind because like this is a terrible play. So special Reichheart, right? Activated, get a rival, another extender, and draw a card. Draw another extender. By the way, that's just more extenders. And for some reason, I go in the Chaos angle instead of Baron. I don't know why I did that. I mindfucked myself because I forgot that triggers Coritis because I just could not believe the plays my opponents were making. And so they summon Fallen Valbaz, dump Nibiru. And that, I accidentally did the right play anyways, because Nibiru was the biggest thing. Like the fact that they discarded Nibiru, that was like gonna do much more for them than one Mirror Jade. So yeah, Chaos Angel's unaffected by the way, so they can't even out this Mirror Jade right now. And they're gonna trigger Lost and time limit. You lost the time limit. You spent 5 minutes ending on that board to time out. You know, I understand why most people who don't play Branded think Branded's bad, because that's the average game of Branded you're gonna play against. Of course, you're not gonna think the deck's good if that's the showing you get anytime you play against it. And now to top that, we got another game. So I have a confession to make. This was a game before the ban list. I'm sorry. I had one additional copy of Fender in here. My bad. But this game is just too funny not to show. And honestly, the only it's fine. Trust me. You're not gonna hate me for having the second Fender in here compared to what my opponent's doing. Which lab. Anytime they have lab sleeves, they're always on lab. They don't even try to hide it anymore. So we're gonna special defender, right, and get skill drain. Ah, nice. Off to a great start. So I'm gonna normal summon my stuff and just try to do as much damage as board as possible because I really don't have another play, and our opponent gets this nib. You know what? Thank you very much. I actually would prefer to get nibbed and draw a card with max, and never mind. Okay, so here's the funny thing. This Nibiru token is a vanilla, so you can actually equip Draco back to the Nibiru token. and you can have the Nibiru back. I don't think I can play into it under skill drain anymore for the rest of this game, so yeah, they're gonna set a monster because 40.5k attack is actually a lot. And here I'm gonna Draco back, put back the skill drain because I drew an Acro, right? And then I should have read that that's a Dogmatic Punishment. You know, I don't think they run a Dogmatic Punishment target bigger than 4500 attack. So I think if I just switched my Nibiru to attack and beat down, I would have won the game in 3 turns. So yeah, that was a misplay on my part. But now my whole board is cleared because they get the send Intis by targeting my 0 attack Acro, and I got nothing. And our opponent set an Ariana. I don't know why you would set an Ariana where our skill drain is on the field. You know I could just return the skill drain back to hand. Why would you just keep it in hand so that you could search? And now you don't have an engine. And now you're maxing me while I'm top decking. And I have nothing. And you're not winning the game next turn. Why are you maxing me? You don't know if I have plays or not. You don't have plays. You're maxing me again. Why are you maxing me? You have no engine. Why don't you use the maxi to try and actually draw cards instead of just randomly activating it? Okay, so you draw no engine for 2 turns and you're gonna beat me down with Ariana. I got 2 more turns of this. Okay, no more maxis, right? Here comes the Fender. Thank God for it doesn't really matter that the Fender does anything because that's the skill drain, so it's not like this is literally just the red eyes on the field right now. This could have been any Scareclaw monster, frankly, it probably would have been better. But yeah, we're gonna attack into the Ariana. Oh, I guess the attack did matter. Whoopsie. I just can't believe like some of the... You're setting another monster. I've never had my opponent set so many monsters against me that when they weren't playing Subterror. Okay, so here comes the Red Environment here. Finally top deck a good card in this situation. And get Griffin Rider to dump the troll that's sitting in my hand. Here comes the big Welcome Labyrinth, and I'm gonna change Griffin Rider because I can't summon it if they get rid of my Adventure Token anymore, so I have to summon it right now. And they're gonna pop my Adventure Token. So I actually do have a line. I could pop the skill drain with Draco Sack, but that accomplishes nothing, so I'm actually gonna make Reichheart and boom, Pressure Plant and Race Off, attack point boost coming in handy. I control a dark monster, so I get 100 attack my monsters, so now my 3100 Reichheart attacked over a 3k attack Lady Labrynth. And now they have to deal with a Reichheart, a 3100 monster under skill drain. Good luck. Here comes the Water Enchantress. Here comes the normal summon Water Enchantress. Attack and they have a Bistio, which again under skill drain, so it doesn't really do them anything. And yeah, they're gonna draw and they're gonna what the fuck was that, bro? Like these were again two of the worst games that I've ever played on Master Duel in my entire life. So unfortunately the meta is not the most friendly towards Scareclaw right now. With everyone running Droll, it's basically the most detrimental hand trap to you aside from Maxi. And the combo deck in this format, Manadium and Super Heavy, necessitating you to basically run hand traps, which again, if you're running the adventure build here, you don't have room to run too many hand traps, so it's very unfortunate. Tryhard plus Twin Saw is still as strong as ever, and it will still win you the game most of the time when you get there, but it's just a matter of getting there, especially when you, or a matter of like not getting completely run over when you go second. So I may test a pure, more heavy hand trap build of this deck later, which unfortunately means we're no longer gonna have ASS.